Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Home Based Business 101. I'm your host, Meredith Banka, and I am here tonight to talk with you guys about social media content. Social media content is a big topic, and as members have been coming into the group of the Side Gig Gurus and they have been asking questions, one of the things that people have been saying over and over that they're struggling with is how do I create great social media content? So that's going to be the topic of our session tonight. And I just want to make sure that I'm streaming live into the group because these episodes get streamed into our private group live. And then we also put them out into the world of our podcast for all of our listeners there as well. So let me just make sure to bring that up. Make sure that anybody that does jump in live has got the ability to answer questions and get the help that they need. So, okay, let's dive in. And you know what? This isn't going to go the way that you probably think it's going to go. I'm not going to whip out some kind of cute little calendar that has some graphics on it and tell you that you need to fill it out every week and that that's how you should plan your content and that you need to get a scheduling system or that you need to get a VA. All of those things are great when it comes to social media content. Hey, De Havilland, great to have you here. Thanks for jumping in and saying hi. It's always awesome to reconnect with you. So, your social media content, it does not start with your social media platform. Your social media content and making sure that it is engaging starts way before. You see, social media is nothing other than a promotional tactic. It is not your business. It is not even your overarching strategy. It is simply a tool that you are using in order to bring the value that you want to bring into the marketplace. And it's a great tool for that. Absolutely. I'm on social media every single day, and I'm sure almost all of you are as well. But where you get stuck is when you sit down in front of the computer, you have your phone in your hand, and you think to yourself, oh, I haven't posted about my business in a week or a month. I haven't done anything inside of my private group. I haven't done anything to share content in any other way, maybe via email or text messaging platform that you might have. I'm just coming up dry every time I try to sit down and talk about content. That's really where the root of the problem is. And I'm a huge fan of talking about the root of the problem instead of just the symptoms. So, what happens though if you don't know what to say is you sit down in front of your computer, you get ready to do the work, and then you can't come up with anything and you get frustrated and then you don't want to work in your business anymore anyway, right? If that is happening to you, I completely understand. It is not uncommon and it's absolutely okay. But here's where you need to start. You actually need to start a few steps back. The reason that you're struggling with content is that you haven't figured out yet who you are and the value that you bring to the audience that you're trying to impact in the marketplace. If you had that figured out, you would know exactly the value that you're bringing. You would know exactly what to talk about. And from there, you can begin to develop a content strategy. But if you don't know in the first place who you are, what you represent, what your values are, what your vision is, and how to paint that picture for people, then it's going to be really hard for them to want to follow you. And it's going to be really hard for you to put content in front of them that they care about, that they're even interested in. So my suggestion is sit down, whether you're a brand new business owner, whether you are thinking about starting a business, whether you've been in business for 4 or 5, 10, 20 years, it's always a good idea to sit down and take an audit of where you are. Is the work that you're doing still in alignment with what you wanted it to be? Is it something that is addressing the audience that you have attracted? Are you doing a good job of explaining with clarity, not only for yourself, but for your ideal client, the benefits that you can offer to them and why? And then from there, you can develop really engaging content because you're going to know what your audience needs to hear. You're going to understand their pain points. You're going to see where you can help them to improve their life with your product, your service, or your opportunity, whatever that might be. But if you don't know that going in, no wonder you've got it like a writer's block or a social media block and you can't figure out what to say because you're kind of going to an empty well. And when you put that bucket down at the bottom of the well every time and it's coming up empty, that gets exhausting. So it's never good to, they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. So stop doing the same thing over and over again. Give yourself a break. Give yourself the opportunity to really go back and spend some time is that a word? Re-envisioning? Revisioning? I don't know. I guess revisioning, isn't that interesting? Like a revision? Revisioning. Maybe I'm going to make that a new word. You're going to revision your purpose. massive, massive opportunity from there. So that's my first tip today, is that it starts with the foundation. The second tip that I have for you is from there, then begin to develop a plan. So when you think about your social media, there are content topics. So things that your audience is going to want to hear about, needs to hear about, value that you want to provide. So what are those topics? What is your platform? What are the things that you could talk about with passion, excitement, and just complete, just desire for your audience? What are those things? And put those down the left-hand side of a piece of paper. So let's say, for example, that maybe you're a health coach. So what are the things that you're ultimately passionate about? Well, are you a health coach to 20 somethings, or are you a health coach to 40 and 50 somethings? Those topics might vary then, which is why it's important to understand that niche and that audience. But let's say that your audience is mamas that just had babies. Okay, you're a health coach that helps mommies that just had babies. So what could some of your content topics be? They could be something around how the biological changes that women are going to go through post-pregnancy. There could be one about mental health. There could be one about self-care. There could be one about exercise post-pregnancy. There could be all sorts of different topic buckets that you could address. So brainstorm what all of those buckets are. And there's no right or wrong answer in this exercise. Just brainstorm what all of them are. And then across the top of your paper or your spreadsheet, or however you want to build this, put the type of post. So this is where I see a lot of entrepreneurs get confused. They blend the topic, the subject matter, with the tactical deployment. That sounds very military, but the tactical deployment of the social media strategy. So is it a live? Is it a story? Is it a reel? Is it just a post on your profile? Is it just a static post? Is it a question? Is it on your profile, or is it in a group that you own, a group that somebody else owns? What all of the tactics around the different platform, put those across the top. So is it a video? Is it a photo? Is it a question? Is it a story post? Is it a two-step post? What are all the options that you have there? And then you can build a matrix. And you can build this matrix. Oh, cool. I'm going to talk about mental health post-pregnancy, and I'm going to go live and I'm going to tell my story of my mental health struggles post-pregnancy. Awesome. That's really engaging. People are going to love that topic. Or I could ask a question. Who is concerned about their mental health post-pregnancy? It's the same subject matter bucket, but you are delivering the content in a different type of category, a different tactical deployment of your subject matter in the social media realm. So that's how you can begin to build your content infrastructure. So that's a plan. Then if you build that, you can sit down and you can do the next step, which is to schedule it. Schedule your content. Know what your theme of a week or a month is going to be. Know what the call to action is that you're asking people to take. Do you want them to just respond and engage? Do you want them to click through on a link? Do you want them to comment below for more information? You need to know what you want them to do so that you're asking them to do it when you put the post out there, right? You have to think it all the way through. And then if you're asking them to take a call to action that's more than just engaging or more than just messaging you, and even if it is messaging you, you need to have that follow-up strategy to back that up. So if you're sending them to a landing page, make sure the page is ready, make sure your checkout's ready, make sure your autoresponder email's ready to go out to them, that they're going to get that follow-up from you, that they're not just going to fall into some massive void of, no communication from you. That's not what you want to have happen. So think the process all the way through. And you should have a few points in your business. If you think of your business as almost like an hourglass, you're bringing people in all sorts of different ways, but you're bringing them to certain points of opportunity, and those are your offers. So all things kind of lead back to those offers and to those follow-ups, which then ultimately get them at the bottom half of that hourglass, which is your sphere of influence. So you're trying to funnel them in and then keep them in your sphere of influence. So that's my third tip, is schedule it. You can use a scheduling tool, you can hire a VA, but you see how this is like the third step in creating your social media process, not the first step. It's not the first step of sitting down there in front of your computer and going, what should I talk about for the next 30 days and trying to figure it out real time. Be more strategic with the way that you're thinking about your social media and have it align with your core values, your mission, your vision. That will make all of the difference, because once you tap into your passion, ladies, I know you can talk about it for such a long time because you wear it on your sleeve. This is your purpose. This is your work. So make sure that you're sharing it that way by backing up the truck a little bit. Here's my fourth tip for engaging social media content is respond to it. If you put posts out there and people comment, make sure you comment back. Make sure you say thanks. Make sure you provide them the information. If people are liking your content, make sure that you're letting them, know that you appreciate them liking it or loving it or giving you the little emoji or whatever it may be. Those are people that are taking the extra time to engage with you. You should be taking the extra time to engage with them. If you don't get to them straight away, it's all right. I think within, a 48 to 72 hour window is great. And you might not get to every single comment if it's somebody that's your teammate or if it's somebody that, is a friend or a family member. You can certainly prioritize in your feed and in your group who it is you're going to respond to and why. Again, being strategic with the way that you manage your time. So last tip that I have for you guys tonight when it comes to social media is the concept of macro and micro content. Macro and micro content. So macro content is going to be content that you create that you can then parcel out into little pieces. You'll often see this done if people do a podcast, if they do any kind of regular live broadcasts like a show like this one, or if they have a blog. They're using that as a place for macro content. And then they're going to take little sound bites from that. They're going to take little micro pieces of that macro content, and they're going to use it to really create the basis of their social media. So let's go back again to our health coach that is serving moms. Maybe she is going to write an article for her blog, or maybe write an article that she is going to post someplace else. Maybe it's being featured in a magazine. Maybe it's being featured online somewhere. Maybe she's a contributor somewhere. Somehow she's got this big piece of content that she's created. And maybe inside that piece of content, it has, like today, this live, it's got top 5 tips, right, for you to have more engaging social media content. I could take each one of these 5 tips that I'm giving you, and I could create micro content specifically to each one of those tips. Does that make sense? So you have a macro concept, then figure out what the micro pieces are to it, and that can really lead you to daily posts. So if you are thinking, wow, I really want my theme this month to be all around, let's say, gut health. You want it to be all around gut health. Well, what are the big components of gut health that you could break down and talk about? And how could you create, let's say there were 4, how could you create a pillar piece of content around each of the 4 pillars of gut health? And then how would those further break out? Remember back when you were in school and you had to write an essay, and it was always like they gave you a rubric for the essay, and you had to have the intro, and then you had to have your 3 substantiating points, and then each point had to have evidence, and then you had a conclusion. Think of your social media content the same way, right? You've got a big idea. Here's where you stand on it, your unique point of view. And then here are 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 aspects of that you could dive into each one deeper. And from there, you can develop a really robust strategy for your content without having to overthink it. It's almost like if you can sit down and come up with that concept and how it's going to play out, that can literally carry you for weeks of what it is you're talking about and how you're engaging people. Another way to do it is to mix it up a little bit and to have rotating topics, have themes of different days. That's also very, very popular. I just took my kids to get coffee. Around our house, we have Thirsty Thursday. So if it's been a good week and everybody's gotten their chores done, people are doing the things that they need to do, then we get to go get coffee or chocolate, hot chocolate, or, chai tea lattes, whatever it is, on the way home from school. So that's Thirsty Thursday. That's like a theme for Thursday in my house. You could use that same idea and have themes of your content on your page and then, or on your profile or in your group. And then people will become like habituated to that and they'll start looking for it. They'll be like, oh, she's live, or oh yeah, it's, Wellness Wednesday, or I have a friend that does a What's for Dinner Wednesday and she posts a recipe every Wednesday. What's for Dinner Wednesday? People are now, in a sense, conditioned to look for her What's for Dinner Wednesday post. And they're like, wow, thank you so much. Yet another great dinner idea that I don't have to make up tonight. She's adding value, right? She's adding value. Her What's for Dinner Wednesday, she's not asking people to do anything. She's not asking them to buy anything, click anything, do anything. She's just saying, hey, I'm here for you. I'm a resource of information for you. So then she's in front of them. When they start thinking, oh, I need a health tip, or oh, I need a wellness product, who do you think they're going to go to? They're going to go to the person that they remember providing value. So your social content shouldn't all be about selling. It should all be about providing value, because your product, your service, or your opportunity does provide value. So if you're thinking up here on the 30,000 foot view, like I suggested in tip number 1, of who you are, what your vision is, what your mission is, who you're up here to help, and then down here at the 100-foot level are all the different ways that you could do that with a product or a service or an opportunity or a coaching program. When you talk up here frequently enough and you create awareness and you create authority at this brand umbrella level, then you can fly down at any point. Fly right down and make an offer. Fly right down and make an offer. But when you're only thinking and talking down here at the product or offer level, not at the value-driven level up here, then you kind of start to come across as super salesy. And people don't like that. They want to be engaged with somebody who's providing them this view of the world, that vision, something that they can ascribe to, something that they can get excited about. So that's the way that we develop this. Step number 1, think about it up here, okay? Step number 2, have a plan. How are you going to dive down and pull those pieces of offers up into your framework? How are you going to schedule it? How are you going to organize it? Am I allowing the time for myself to respond to it? And am I going with this macro content that has micro components to it? So that's everything that I wanted to share with y'all tonight about social media content, how you can make it easy, how you can get unstuck from working on it. And here's the thing I want to offer you tonight. Because we are headed into the end of 2021, which I can barely believe, but we are headed into what I hope is the best year in your business ever, 2022. I actually have a free gift for all of you. It's been an incredible year for me and for my business, and I want to say thank you to everyone by offering you my Marketing Game Plan Challenge in December for free. And this Marketing Game Plan Challenge is really for the brand new business owner, for the person who has yet to start their business, but also for somebody that is in business that maybe thinks that they need to do that revisioning that I talked about. It's a 5-day online challenge. We're going to walk through your vision, your mission, your values. We're going to walk through your overarching value proposition. We're going to talk about your audience. We're going to talk about the structure of your offers. We're going to talk about the different types of promotional opportunities they are. We're going to wrap it all together into a simplistic marketing plan so that you can sail into 2022 knowing what it is you're going to do and exactly how to do it. So if that seems like something that would offer value to you, then just go to meredithbanka.com/free challenge and you can register for the challenge today. Looking forward to seeing all of you there. Have an awesome week. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again the next time. And I'm not really sure how to end my live tonight because Facebook is apparently mad at me. So I'm just going to have to close my browser. Have a good night, everybody.